And we are live. Okay. Hey, end of the year. This is the last day of 22. And I thought I'd do one last little broadcast in this. It was kind of an active year for me. I didn't do a whole lot. I did manage to get my book almost published. The publisher still got it on the editor's desk for some unknown reason. The cover's done, everything's done. Not quite understanding why book writing experts, that's their name, is taking so long to get my book put on Amazon. But hopefully it'll be around or come around sometime here in this coming year. Uh, had a lot of really nice compliments. Appreciate it a whole bunch. Everybody likes my new logo. This guy right here. It looks kind of sort of like my old logo. In fact, I kind of fashioned it uh, to look more or less like my old logo. And I appreciate the everybody thinking it looks nice. I appreciate that a lot. But no, this is just the last, I guess, live stream of this year, and uh, you know, it's been pretty good. It's been a pretty good year. I've had some pretty good investigations. One was at the haunted YMCA, and real quick, I'm going to bring up something, just a short video of the YMCA, and then make a little short announcement afterwards. This is what happened at the YMCA here just this last year. Now, it's really getting a lot of readings. It's stabled off a little bit. Look at that, 12.4.
Yeah, somebody's stepping out back down there.
So that's kind of what we've seen, and I don't know. Maybe some of you seen this little. This is my little notebook. This is a notebook that I just do little doodles and stuff in, and I'm coming up with some really interesting ideas and theories, and I'm bringing in Ghost Gear on this. I went over some of my theories with him, Robert from Ghost Gear, and he's really excited about what this theory I have is that relates to well, just say a candle flame. It's going to be kind of cool. Also, really quick, Laura Nichols Wessy, I believe is her last name, messaged me today that she purchased my book In Too Deep. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't butcher your last name. Um, During this past week, I've been posting a lot of stuff, and people seem to be engaging on it. Uh, One of those questions that I asked was, when is it appropriate to ask for money from a client to do an investigation? And I had, I believe, three or four different topics to that. It says, if there's a demonic presence at the location, that's one. Number two, if a piece of equipment gets damaged or broken, to cover gas costs if the location is more than a 2 hour trip one way. None of the above. You should never ask for money. Now, I had a lot of response to that question. In fact, I had 11 of them. Tim Preston, he says definitely four. A good investigator should never ask for money to help someone. If they offer to give you something for helping, then that's up to the lead investigator, I guess is what you're trying to say. Another one is let me see, Kelly Steffen, a good friend of mine. In fact, she's really about the only person uh, in some most of my questions I've asked has ever investigated the Stagecoach Inn. If you ever really want to know about the Stagecoach Inn, talk to Kelly Steffen about it. She'll tell you all about it. Although she's pretty busy, she got her hands full right now with raising some little ones. Anyway, it says here comes unpopular answer, not because you have that right. If you're ripping people off, you'll eventually be weeded out. If you offer a valuable service and are sought after, charge a fee to offset expenses. Go for it. Why do people think there's rules and morals and legal services for if a service is asked for? She says, I've had mechanics scan me several times. Are there any differences? I think I understand what she's saying. So that was just one, a couple. Here's another one. Christina, she says, I would say number two, to help pay the cost of the broken equipment. You know, I carry insurance on my equipment. So if anything should break, it shouldn't be up to the client, I wouldn't think, to pay for things that get broke. If you drop something, drop it down the steps. I don't think that is your or the client's responsibility to replace it. That is your equipment. Just like if I'm on a job site and I'm working for a client putting on, say, a new porch, and I break my skill saw, it just burns up. It just breaks. Well, I'm not going to go and knock on the client's door and say, "Hey, you got to buy me a new skill saw. I just broke it making your deck." Well, that's not their problem. It's yours. It's not their fault. So that's kind of how I feel about that. Let me see. No comments yet. Um, Another piece of equipment uh, or a little video I want to present is something from this past year from, again, the YMCA in Rock Island, Illinois. And it was with my cell phone. And it was some of the coolest stuff that I captured. Check this out. I've experienced haunted. Did you hear that? That came from over here. Hello? Hear that? I hear you. I don't know what that is. And I never did figure out what that was. I was there with Dr. Rebecca Foster, and we had a great investigation there at the Haunted YMCA, and I hope I can get back there. I do have plans. They're not written in stone, but I plan on taking a rather long trip, an investigation, and I hope I pronounced the name right. I'm thinking about going down the Appalachian Trail. From what I understand, there is a lot of just really crazy places to investigate along that trail. People come up missing on that trail. Bigfoot's been seen on that trail. Those are places. It's a place that I plan on going. I am looking, obviously, for somebody else to go along with me. It's not something I intend on doing myself. Although Jim Martin from Hauntology Productions says, "Yeah, I'd be happy to go with you." But I don't think Jim understands that when I go off trail. Well, I really mean I go off trail. There's no Motel 6 or Motel 1 or whatever it is he likes to refer to. Not to say that he could leave me in a tent and he can go into some nearby town. He can. So I am indeed going to be probably looking for somebody who wants to go investigate with me when I go down the Appalachian Trail, and I will eventually end up in Savannah, Georgia. I'll be going down there. I guess they got some pretty haunted places. My sister just moved down there just not too long ago and said I should come down and take a peek around. So I think I will. So anyway, continuing with some of my little questions, and there's not a lot of people in here. I get it. It's New Year's, and that's okay. I put a question on my Facebook page and my Darker Paranormal page. It says, I'm having a hard time reading this, folks. Sorry about that. So, what works better, old school tape recorder or digital recorder to do EVPs? And I was really surprised. Dustin Harm, he says digital all day long. The only real difference between the two is stronger medium. I'm not sure what that means. Although tape quality has improved. Another one says, Tim Preston says, I like to mix it up using both. My personal opinion is this. I like the old school, and I'll tell you why. The digital recorders are really super, super sensitive, in my opinion. I've done it a long time, and I remember using uh, the reel to reels, the cassettes. And I remember, just like being godsmacked the first time I heard a digital recorder, thinking, "Wow, look, listen to all the stuff that I was missing." And I really thought I was missing a lot of stuff, after using a reel to reel or a cassette recorder for so long. But I discovered they were so sensitive that what I thought I was hearing, in one case, I was actually investigating out in the country. It was at an older house, and it sounded demonic to me. I mean, I really thought it was. And come to find out, about a quarter of a mile away was another farm that had black Angus cattle on it, and there was some cow that was bellowing for its calf. And that's how sensitive those digital recorders were. And the reel to reel or the old uh, cassette recorders weren't quite as sensitive to noises that were further away than what a digital recorder does. The only good thing I see with the digital versus the reel to reel is it's easier to find a file or go to some place on that file that you want to hear something and play it back. Also, the tapes don't get stretched out. There's a lot of things that happen to a cassette tape over time. I've had a lot of digital or not digital, reel to reel or cassette type tapes over the years. And guess what? I don't have any of those anymore. They just get lost. Where if I would have had probably a digital recorder back in the day, I could have, uploaded them to a file. So that's one of the things that I like about a digital type recorder is they're easy to come up with. There was one thing here. It was pretty controversial. Let me see if I can find it. Da, da, da. And I'm not finding it offhand. Give me a second. Um, okay, yeah, here we go. And I was surprised at the questions with this too. All right. And it says, who is the one person you would not want on your team, even though that person was very good at gathering evidence? And I had four potential answers. One was uh, uh, an atheist, the second, a skeptic, the third, a person with an overdramatic personality, and the fourth, a narcissist. And I was really surprised that a lot of people said number three, the overdramatic person. Now, me personally, I can deal with an overdramatic person. I already know, through my investigations that they're probably going to be way over dramatic about something, and that's just part of the charm of, I guess, being a paranormal investigator. You're going to have that one person that just gets all wound up about something that's pretty small, and actually it makes good video. It just does. The thing I don't like, I guess, would be actually number four, a narcissist. I do not want some self-indulging person on my team. um, Excessive admiration for themselves just isn't appealing to me. Um, a narcissist has no room on at least my team. If I would have a team, I just wouldn't have that kind of a person. And I was surprised that nobody else said. Everybody said number three. The over dramatic person. Well, like, again, I can deal with that. And if I do enough videos, if I would have that person and they're over dramatic, people would learn that that person is over dramatic and kind of gets a little crazy. But it's like, again, it makes good video and people laugh at it and think it's funny. But nobody really likes a narcissist. And let me see. I had one here that was really. Um, it it really caused a lot of blowback, I think. See if I can find it. Boy, I'm having a hard time. Okay, question. Here it is. Question. If Bigfoot exists, does he or she have a soul? Take in mind, in my knowledge, that mankind is the only thing that has a soul. That's to my knowledge. That's what I've always been taught as I was growing up in the little churches that, we have dominion over all animals. Jill Arpin says animals definitely have souls. And since Bigfoot is a humanoid animal, I believe he would have a soul. So, and there's no wrong answer. Not really. There's really no wrong answer with uh, people believing that something does or does not have a soul. I happen to believe that just people do. And I'll tell you why. I'm not thoroughly versed in biblical texts, but I do know that when Jesus came in contact with, it was either one person or several people that were inflicted with demons, that he cast those demons into pigs, into hogs, animals, and sent them storming off a cliff or into the water, or it was something. And I can't see Jesus casting demons into something that has a soul. I don't see that happening. So do I believe that animals have souls? I believe that, I want to believe they do. I mean, it's kind of a comforting thought, to know that my cat and my dogs and all the little gerbils and goldfish and everything that I've had through my life that brought me joy would be waiting for me in heaven. That's a wonderful thought. But again, we have dominion over these things. It doesn't say any place in biblical text that I know of that says that we have dominion over each other. And if that was the case, we could just kill each other. It says we have dominion over animals, which means we can eat them. We can, we have authority over them. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill an animal. Thou shalt not kill a man, a human being, somebody with a soul. So that's kind of where I stand with that. I was kind of thinking Claudette might be in here, but not so far. So anyway, if anybody has a response to that, I would really like to hear it. Now, another really cool thing that's going on is I was talking here a few minutes ago. I was talking about a theory. In fact, you may have seen me post about it. I'm working on a theory, and a lot of you seen this post, and it's in my little notebook here. It was a candle, and it says the key to classification begins with the flame. And I read this theory to Robert from Ghost Gear, and he got very excited about it. And we're going to start working on this theory together. I'm not saying that it's going to be the next great aha moment, but what Robert thinks he can do is take this theory and put it to actual use, and maybe create something that will detect supernatural spirits even better than some of the technology that's already out there. It's in its infancy right now as far as trying to figure out how it would work. But everything that I've read makes sense. I've been doing a lot of research, um, and I wish I could tell you more about it, but I can't. It's just it's for one thing, it's really really deep, and I got to figure out a way to break it all down. Robert understood it. In fact, maybe I'll bring him on the show at some point. We can kind of talk about it a little bit with actually revealing what's going on. Robert is kind of tentatively a member of Dark River Paranormal. By the way, I am still looking for some team members. I don't necessarily do all those investigations like I used to anymore. So I'm looking for more mature people like myself who don't really like to go all the time to uh, run around the dark to look for said spirits. I haven't got that kind of enthusiasm anymore. So I'm looking for somebody that's, in their 60s that occasionally, if we find a place, we'll go to it, investigate it, and call it good. Uh, I'm not looking to be famous. I'm not looking to be, that team. I don't want the spotlight really on me or my team members. I just want to be able to investigate and find some good quality evidence and present it here on this format. Let's see. We got somebody. Maybe he's going to make a comment. Wouldn't that be great? Pigs are unclean. Yeah, that's true. They are, but they're still an animal. Let me see. Well, a pig is an animal. I'm not saying I'm not trying to create an argument here. Believe me, I'm not. This is a long-standing. Anything about religion can be, wow, something I really don't want to go down that road. But it's still an animal, and anything with a split hoof, so to speak, is unclean. And so that'd be a white-tailed deer, I guess, too, right? I do whenever I would harvest a deer. When I back in the day when I bow hunted, I would thank God for having that deer give itself of it to me. But that was about the end of it. But that's that. But you're right. I mean, the Jews see that as an unclean animal. Why I don't know. It's still unclean. But a pig is an animal. It goes to a veterinarian. when most farmers, when they when they have a sick livestock like a pig, they call a veterinarian. They don't call a doctor. They call a veterinarian because veterinarians, they deal with animals. But yeah, there you go. Again, I'm not trying to stir the pot and get all muddy watered and all that kind of good stuff, but yeah, you're right. You're absolutely correct. So let's see here. Where was I at? I don't even really remember. I just kind of decided here at the last minute I was going to do this evening. I was going to have one last hurrah before I actually called it a new year, and began my new next journeys, and that's going to be the Appalachian Trail. I really want to go down the Appalachian Trail. Not going to walk it, obviously. I'm sure there's areas you can drive and get into, but I've also heard that there's a lot of really haunted places there that really haven't been investigated. And I've talked to Jim Martin from Spirit Realm Network, and he said that he would set me up with a system for this camera when you're watching me on the FX205, where I can do live broadcasts via kind of a satellite signal from just about anywhere. So I'm really, really excited about that. By the way, I think next week I'm going to have a gentleman on here by the name of Father Ruben Lopez. Now, Father Lopez is an ordained minister. He's a priest, not a minister. He's a priest of the Catholic Church. He's an exorcist. He's been an exorcist for over 50 years. And he is going to talk about these topics, especially when it comes to religion. He's going to talk about all the stuff that I'd been kind of bringing up, like, do animals have souls? And in fact, he was the one who, I don't know, what one of our phone conversations, we were talking about beings and things among us, and he said that Bigfoot, if it does exist, he says it's an animal and it's soulless. The only thing that has souls are people born of Adam and Eve. He had a really a very, what word can I use, priesty way of saying it. I don't know how to say it. Elegant, I guess, and very educated. He is very, very, very well versed on biblical text. In fact, when I get done talking with the guy, I mean, I've talked to him on the phone probably 12 times. I am just in awe of what he tells me, and in awe of how he describes to me how this dark stuff works. And he's brought me to the conclusion that the only good spirit that's out there is God himself. And everything else just needs to be going back to hell. That's his words, not mine. But I'll tell you what, when I bring him on the show, which I'm thinking it's going to be like next week or the week after that, he has got a lot of things to say, and he has no time for folks who get their education to be demonologists or priests or whatever it is on the internet. He believes that you go to seminary school. He is married to God. That's why he's a priest. And he thinks a lot of people are putting themselves in danger doing so. And even being a priest and being an exorcist, as he's been for 50 years, he finds no joy in doing exorcisms. It honestly scares him. So it's going to be a neat show. So let me see. Do I got anything else I want to say before I call this a night? Yeah, one more clip. One more of my favorite clips from the Haunted YMCA this year. I didn't really go that many places this year. I went to the Haunted YMCA, and every time that I went there this year, something remarkable happened. And I did a Haunted and Alone from there. And I was in the staircase, the where the elevator shaft was, when I heard something that just blew my mind. And it was something that was trying to, I think, draw me down to the cellar area. And I didn't bite it. I didn't draw into it. I didn't go. But you can hear very vividly something. Well, here, just take a listen. So let's go ahead and do. Are you hearing that? Recording that. Did you hear that? That was a lot of talking. And it was. There was voices that were coming. They were rising right up that elevator shaft from out of the old boiler room area, and there's nothing down there. That whole night was just crazy active. When I took Rebecca Foster there, which and some of you may have seen that she was on the Discovery Channel here the other night. I missed it, but she was there doing an episode with somebody at Ashmore Estates. Had a great time. And she talked about that. I guess I didn't realize that she was there doing a filming for Discovery Channel, but she came right out and said during an investigation and later that the haunted YMCA was the most haunted place that she'd ever been to. And she'd been to Ashmore Estates. And Ashmore Estates doesn't hold a candle to the haunted YMCA. So, well, look, I've been on here for about a half hour. I've got, one person in here right now following me. I think I've already upset somebody because I was saying that certain animals didn't have souls. I think it, again, my opinion and my opinion only. Don't get mad at me for believing what I believe. I would really like to know, or it would warm my heart, I guess, to know that my pets are going to meet me in heaven. But I think it's just more of a comfort for me to think that. I don't believe they're going to be there. So we'll talk to Father Reverend Lopez about that here in the next coming week or so. So until then, I would wish you a wonderful, happy new year, and stay safe. And maybe, oh, by the way, I'm still looking for a co-host for this show because it's really tough for me to just kind of talk to this microphone by myself. I kind of need that sounding board, another person to really make this into a really good show that's going to get some traction and start moving forward. So if you want to join in with me and have some really cool conversations, we'll speak throughout the week, put a show together, and bring something really insightful to people. I've got 4 decades of experience, and I'm looking for somebody who has a broader reach than I do. The new stuff that they're learning. I'm kind of old school. I'm old school stuffy kind of guy, and I'm always looking for somebody with new ideas that says, new adventures. I've got the old ones. I like to bring some new ones and combine those together and make a really cool show. So anyway, until then, Happy New Year. Stay safe, and we'll see you next year.